All right. Good morning, everybody. It is January 17th of 2025, which I'm still getting used to saying. Welcome for the AgRobotics Working Group meeting. Um, I'll start off just by reminding everybody again about our save the date for March 7th at the London Farm Show. We're going to be doing the working group meeting in person. There'll be some refreshments served. It'll be a good opportunity to network with people in the group and, meet some people in person that you might have only met virtually through here. Um, we'll have a lot more information about that, but we just wanted to get the date out there so people could mark it. New members for this week. I see that we are joined by Chrissy Wozniak. Chrissy, I was wondering if you might be able to introduce yourself to the group and let us know about what you're doing here and what you hope to bring to the group.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you all. I think a lot of you I already know. Um, but yeah, Joe invited me, so I'm here and I am just interested to see what you guys do and what you're all about. I was recently offered a position in the fall to be US marketing and communication specialist for AgRobotics, the Swiss company, and having a lot of fun with that. I head to Switzerland next week to go meet with the marketing team and have a tour of the factory and spend a week out there. So that's exciting. And then I'll be headed to World Ag and then New York Farm Show.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
So
Thanks so much
thank you
for
for
joining.
inviting me.
Of course, absolutely. And from our new members, I believe you're the only one on our call this morning, so we'll move forward into the meat of today's meeting. So for our, it's on the back, not the next page. For our meeting today, we're doing another one of our discussion topics. Basically wondering what does 2025 look like for you? It's a new year, new plans. So we just want to hear from our working group members, think of it as an opportunity to gloat or brag about stuff that the cool stuff you're going to be taking on and doing. And for this section, we've got Joe Dales who's going to be helping me moderate it because he's a much better conversationalist than I am. So thanks for hopping in there, Joe.
I don't know about that. Uh, yeah, I think this time of year everybody figures out what's working well, what do we need to do in 25. Plus, in agriculture, it's a really good time for planning because we've got spring in 4 or 5 months. So I think it's important for us to have a discussion. And what can we achieve as a group? So I think sharing your challenges and what you're working on, who you are, some of that stuff will be helpful. So we'll open it up for people that are interested. Uh, Welcome, Chrissy. This is great. Chrissy's got a new job. Chrissy, do you want to tell us a little bit about AgRobotics? Because I'm not sure everybody on the call is familiar with your company. If you follow the space, you'll know that they're one of the leading robotics companies, and they have some pretty interesting technology. So maybe we'll let Chrissy just tell us a little bit about the company, although she's fairly new, but I think she's picked up what they're doing.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I was lucky enough. I've been following AgRobotics for a few years now. I have a podcast, North American Ag Spotlight. And so they've been on the podcast a few time. So I've gotten to know them over the last few years. Very exciting company. As I said before, they manufacture in Switzerland. They're a Swiss AI company. They prefer to be called an AI company devoted to precision agriculture. So it may branch out of the weeding space eventually. The technology is really fascinating. What it does is it's behind the tractor, so it's not an autonomous weeder. And it's not a laser weeder. It is it sprays, but it can also spray fungicide, herbicide, really, really anything. As it goes across the ground, it takes pictures of the crop and everything on the ground. It decides in a quarter of a second whether it's a weed or the crop. And then if it's herbicide, then it sprays the weed only in a 2.5 inch square. That's how precise it is. So it's really exciting. They have enjoyed some really rapid growth. So last year, the first location was opened in Pasco, Washington, and they have really pushed forward growing the US team. So it's a US company here now. And then hopefully within 18 months, we'll be manufacturing in the US as well. So that too is very exciting. I'm excited to be part of a team where you in farm implement where you could take market share. So to me, that's really exciting. Anybody that follows my other podcast, What Color is Your Tractor? I'm obsessed with marketing in the farming world. So this is like one of the coolest things I've been able to work on so far. So it's very exciting. I forgot to say this before. I live in Cape Coral, Florida. Um, I'm originally from the Niagara area in Ontario, and I went to Kemptville College. So that's it.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm glad you're on here. Yeah, let's just open it up for people. Dan, if you see some stuff in the chat, you can throw it up there. Dan from Untethered, I know you've got a busy, huge project that you want to get kicked off in 25. Do you want to lead us off in some of the discussion on, what it is you're working on? Maybe remind everybody about your company, and then how the group can support your efforts so that we're advancing the whole industry.
Sure. Well, we're Untether AI. We're another AI company. We're out of Toronto. We're a semiconductor company, so we make chips. Mostly started in the automotive industry, and we're bringing that technology now into ag tech, into defense, mining, construction. Essentially, we're a modern way of processing for AI. It's no longer based on a GPU. GPUs were great 25 years ago, not so great today. And by replacing these, we're able, when Chrissy said in a quarter of a second, that's one of the limitations on the speed of a sprayer or a weeder is how fast they can recognize, how fast they can instruct the robots that are doing the spraying or the laser weeding. We can take that quarter of a second down to about a tenth of what it is, which then means you can run the tractor 2-3 times faster than you're running it now. Means you can cover more acreage. Means the ROI is higher for the. So we're seeing a lot of the ag folks are saying we've just by default have assumed everybody should be using an NVIDIA GPU for all their AI stuff, and for 25 years that wasn't a bad idea, but everything's changed now. So what we've done is come up with a very similar approach from the semiconductor industry is to propose an open source, what we're calling AgBox. It would be developed by a collaboration of many people. It would be available to everybody to customize. And I was talking with Andrew yesterday of the Chariot folks. They're building a very similar one, but by the community all coming together, we democratize something like hardware. We basically make the software that you're writing be the definition and the differentiation of your product. So we're having a kickoff meeting. We've delayed it to January 30th based on, quite honestly, we didn't expect this much response. I presented here last week. I'll follow it up with a lot. A lot of the folks on this call here today, pretty much between North America, Europe, Australia, and India is our focus right now. We haven't done much in Asia. But the net effect would be everybody would have access. If you're an ag startup in the early days, you just basically have access to the industry standard box that we've got manufacturers like J Squared in Canada ready to build. So this, we hope, bootstraps startups, get some more innovation to the market faster, reduces the cost of investment required. So you don't have to raise as much money because you don't have to do this essential development. It's there for you. You just have to customize it, or you can use it off the shelf. So that's kind of a early morning, just had a cup of coffee, rambling about what we're up to. But we invite anybody to join. You can certainly hit me up. We have a registration website. It's open. It's going to be by invitation only. We don't want just a huge public forum. We really want this to be a working group that gets some work done. We hope in 6 or 7 months we're going to have a first article ready for field tries. And ultimately, we talked with Chuck last week. We'd like to put one of these compare it to the existing computing on the same machine in the same field, the same conditions. Just hit go and see what happens. But the idea is ag tech will improve by a higher level of innovation with AI hardware. You all have done a great job with software, with models, with hydraulics, with all the innovations you're doing. Mechanical side, we're trying to bring to ag tech. And we're not trying to do this in a proprietary way. That's where we're making this an open source kind of thing, inviting our competition, everybody's competition for the greater whole. The word is collaboration. That's what we're up to.
That's great. Yeah, if anybody needs Dan's contact information, reach out to myself or the robotics working group, Dan and Bridget, and we'll get the people connected there. So no, thanks for doing that. Looking forward to and you're going to be at FIRA as well in Toulouse, I think, launching this. So this is a fairly global initiative to support the whole ag and agricultural automation sector. So appreciate that, Dan. Good job. Anyone else who's up next, or do you want me to pick people up? We can pick on people too, which Matt, why don't you fill us in? How's everything going with Finite Robotics, and how maybe give everybody a quick update on who you are and what you're working on, and then what can we do to support your efforts this year?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Joe. So Matt from Finite Robotics, we're focused on orchard robotics. Why are we focused on orchard robotics? Well, it takes 100 times more labor to grow apples than it does to grow corn. We'd like to shrink that gap a bit. Basically, all the labor in an orchard is for 3 tasks: pruning, thinning, and harvest. As we talked about on the working group, there's a couple international companies focused on harvest. There's no one that we found focused on thinning. It's a little less labor than harvest, but there's some real reasons why it's really a good opportunity for robotics. And so in 2024, we started that development program. We do our robotics development here in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, and then we have a test orchard down in Simcoe. So for folks that were at the Simcoe demo day, you would have seen like our very early proof of concept, basically looking at the tree, doing the vision, detecting the fruitlets, because thinning's done when the fruitlets are this big and you've got a green fruitlet on a green canopy. So the vision problem is not trivial. But we got a lot of that figured out last year in 2024, and we got really crude proof of concept arms that were going out and grabbing off fruitlets. We've taken the winter time to really refine. We're based out of Velocity's innovation arena. We've got a little test tree in there, and we've been iterating through a bunch of different end effector designs to try and find one that we're ready to go into season this year with. And so we have one that we want to take into season. And our goal this year is to actually have a full rover working 10 plus acres, robotically thinning in our own test orchard, and then hopefully in really small, limited fashion into other people's orchards. Again, we're going to try and eat our own dog food first. So that's where we're at. Still, a lot of ways to go. As excited as we always have been about it. 2024 was really about just like working out the basic vision, basic mechanics. If anyone's interested in sort of the some of the lessons learned we've had of building ag robots in Ontario, there's some really nice tailwinds that make it a lot of benefit, like what Dan is at today, the RoboHub. Like we've definitely benefited from having a group of other robotics developers, both in ag and outside of ag, that we've been able to learn and share from, which is really helpful. There's also some challenges. We've had multiple, vendors, of motors or bearings say like, look, we can ship it to Detroit and you can have it tomorrow. If you want to ship it to Waterloo, we'll get it to you in the next month or two, right? They're just like small logistical issues that make it really, really slower, which is unfortunate because in AgRobotics, everyone knows like there's a window to get a job done. And if you're not ready for that window, year's done, right? So the ability to move quick is there. So I guess my ask is if you want to know more about Orchard Robotics, whether it's thinning, which is the current step we're working on, or anything to do with Orchard Robotics, please let me know. I'm happy to share what we're learning, what's working, what's not. Yeah, that and then if anyone's interested in sort of the ways that make developing egg robots in Ontario easier or also harder, please reach out. I'd love to share what we're up to. So, and just a final thing of thanks again for having this working group. We found it incredibly helpful just to share, connect, and learn from others. Again, there's a lot of cross-pollination, even if there's other egg robotics that are maybe field crops. We certainly benefit a lot from hearing what's going on in those spaces and what may or may not translate into orchard robotics. So,
are you looking for apple farmers for this year to work with you, Matt, or where are you in the whole commercialization process?
Yeah, so in 2024, I met with a number of Ontario apple growers to understand, like to tour their orchards, to see and learn. But Joe, like always appreciate more intros. And so we kind of have a short list of folks that say, hey, if your robot's ready, like bring it on out. But I will, yes, thank you. Yes, if you have a good intro to an Ontario apple grower, please let me know. I always appreciate more intros. Thank you.
Yeah, well, and this is such an eclectic group. I'm sure there's some of us that know apple growers and our friends, and I think that's where if we can have 1 + 1 = 10, the whole industry advances. So I encourage everyone to reach out to Matt. You can check his website out as well, and so on.
And Joe, actually, one thing you did prompt me, thank you, was a good question. If you know tender fruit growers, please, because right now we're focused on apple, but next year we also want to expand to tender fruit. So thank you for that prompt. I completely forgot to ask.
Perfect. Yeah, we can, we'll help on that. Carl from PAMI. I'm sure people know who PAMI is, but do you want to take a few seconds and let us know who PAMI is, how you can support the industry, what it is you're doing as far as robotics, and then some of the challenges that you're looking for and are the things that we can do. So kind of give you a whole bunch of things to work on there.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah, so for those who are not familiar with PAMI, so PAMI stands for the Prairie Agricultural Machinery Institute. We started in 1975, and we are a not-for-profit engineering company. So we are affiliated with the provinces of Manitoba and Saskatchewan in the sense that we get 15% of our revenue is grant money from the government. Because of that, when we work with our clients retain 100% of the IP that we get that's generated off that project. So we're not looking to collect royalties. We're not looking to become a competitor or retain that information. So our job is to raise the tide of the industry, whatever that is that we focus on. We work primarily in agriculture, but we also work in mining and transportation. A lot of stuff that we do is our traditional clients are from an entrepreneur who's got an idea, but he wants to take it to market, but he's got no idea how to get it there. We can help them walk through the gates of research what's available on the market today. How can you differentiate that in the marketplace? Design a solution that meets the criteria they have in their mind. To build a prototype, test it, take it through whatever standards in that industry are needed to be met, that sort of thing, all the way down to the technical writer to produce the documentation if you're pursuing some, patents and that sort of thing. So as well as to full scale production. So I won't go through our full service offering, but we do a lot of engineering. We do custom fabrication for wire harnesses on a prototype scale, not on a mass production scale. We have specialized facility. The other end of our spectrum is the major OEMs of the world. So in any one of the three sectors that I mentioned, they usually come to us in the sense of You know, we've run out of bandwidth on our own engineering team. Can we act as a pressure relief for them so that we can step in and hit their deadlines with the priorities that they want to make. Two locations, one's out of Portage La Prairie, Manitoba, which is where I primarily operate out of. That's got a specialized building for mechanical testing. So that would be one area that this group would probably be interested in. So we can, it's a, like I say, it's a special built, purpose built facility that basically you can tie down a specimen and torture it until it breaks or shake it until it breaks. We've got a couple systems in there from MTS, a flex test system, which is a little bit more, probably more geared to, you know, heavy in industry and that sort of thing. The MTS or the mass table that we have could simulate road travel, for example, for a component. And the other thing we have is an electrodynamic shaker table that can do quite high frequencies and G forces. So if you're looking, we do a rooftop air conditioner, for example, on an industrial scale, would be something that we could put on that and see what vibrates loose and what shakes and what breaks. Yeah, for us. So obviously the work that I just laid out, that's why I say it's a traditional client. As we look to 2025, Dan, to your original question is kind of what are we looking at? We're kind of looking at what PAMI 2.0 looks like. That's a big reason why I'm on this call is to keep a a finger on the pulse, if you will. So yeah, this group has been really great for me to kind of dip my toe in the water here. Still learning lots to learn. Yeah, that's kind of us. And you know, the other thing on the horizon here, Joe, is I'm probably going to be going to Europe a couple times this year. And that's something that's on our horizon as part of the geography that we want to service more regularly, I would say.
Yeah, you might want to when you're doing a trip, you know, just make it coincide with the FIRA event in Toulouse, France.
Mm.
That's kind of where all the robot guys get together. If you want more info on that, I think Chuck's been there quite a few times, so he can kind of fill you in on what that's all about. I see Grant and Jason on from Haggerty. Do you guys want to chat for a minute about 25 plans and what you need from the industry?
Sure, yeah. I guess for us, Jason, I think we had talked before this, he might go over some of the research projects we're working on and that side of the business, and I'll maybe go over some of the new products we're working with, and what's different from 25 versus 24. So some new products we're working with. Just before the new year, right before Christmas, we received 2 tractors from Monarch Tractor. So if you're not familiar with Monarch Tractor, they're basically an electric tractor, about 40 to 70 horsepower, 100% electric, and they have the ability to be fully autonomous as well. The autonomy aspect of their tractor is still being finalized, all the navigation and everything, so it's still a work in progress, but the rest of the tractor is all ready to go. So the company themselves, they started back in 2017, and their first tractors came to market just in 2022. But since then, they have, I think they're on number 600 right now. Majority of them are along the West Coast, so the company's based in California. So a lot of orchard and vineyard operations and dairy operations for push and feed in the alleyways as well. So I think it adds to our couple of existing robots that we have in the orchard and vineyard space, and then it provides us a new opportunity in the dairy space to get some expansion there. So we're pretty excited about the Monarch tractor. I had the opportunity to do some service and support training on them. I guess that was last week, and basically hook the whole tractor apart and put it back together. And it's a very simple machine to work on. Simple and good, but there's a lot of software behind it that's running everything. Which the nice part about that is as the machine ages, they can do over-the-air software updates to keep everything up to date. And any parts that get outdated or get wrecked, they're simple swaps in and out to replace those parts. So very excited for that. I think we'll have some good potential with that machine. And then everything else, the other robot systems that we're working with, so all the NIO products, Farm Droid, AgRobotics, and the Burrow, we're continuing to work with those and promote those and try and get more of those units out there. So yeah, continuing to fine tune everything we've learned over the past 2-3 years and get those machines working better and working on more farms out there in Ontario and the Great Lakes area. So on company front, we hired a new sales manager for Haggerty AgRobotics. He just started in the new year. I sent him an invite to this meeting, but not sure if he'll make it on or not, but I imagine he'll be on next week if not. So he's located just in Delhi, so good area for a lot of our robotics to be deployed. So he's just going to give us some more focus on the sales front to get more robots out and around in Ontario. So I see there was a question in the chat.
Yeah, just curious if it's like general experience you're looking for, or are you looking to like attach it to a turbo mist and see how long it can
Yeah,
run?
so these tractors are fully market ready. It's basically replacing a 40 horse diesel tractor right now at this point, but just making it electric. So yeah, looking for actual customers of the tractor to deploy them on their farms. So we're quite confident that they'll work and everything. The autonomy aspect of it, that's what will be more of the R&D on our part to get that working as good as possible. I think the hope was they would have that fully released in the next 6 months or so. And ready to go, but that'll be more of the work on our part that we're doing with it. But as an electric tractor, it's pretty well market ready right now. So
is the intent to have the autonomy also have implement control? Will it be able to turn on the PTO and things like that?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So all those controls right now, they're done through a screen right in the corner of the cab. So you can turn on, there's hydraulics and PTO available to it. So I believe, the autonomy would factor that in. So the autonomy, it's using GPS, like RTK GPS, and then it also has a stack of cameras on the roof of the tractor that it's using AI to learn its environment as it travels through the field. So that's part of the longer process of getting their autonomy implemented is they're using AI as well to learn the environment as it's driving through the field. So eventually it'll recognize obstacles as they come into view. It'll differentiate, or it does right now differentiate between a person or an object, so you can fine tune the sensitivity of those objects. Whereas a person, if it sees a person, it's just going to stop. But if it's an object and the person says it's a weed or grass and you can just drive through it, then the AI will learn that over time and recognize those objects more and more. So the autonomy theoretically will get better as time goes on as well.
Okay, but like it sounds to me like it could be a much lower cost way to have an autonomous sprayer than the really big unit, possibly.
Potentially, yeah. Potentially,
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Right to repair is one of the issues I work on. The company doesn't mind you doing your own wrenching on these things.
So we're now a dealer for the Monarch tractor. So up until now, they've been doing direct sales and service and support. So they have all their own technicians going out and servicing all these machines. But as the company's growing, first they were based in California and the Western states, so they could send their own techs out there. But as they expand to the Eastern US and Canada and elsewhere in the world, they're opening a new office in Belgium, I believe. So as they expand, they're signing on dealers and everything. So certain aspects of it, I think they're sticking to the dealer doing all that servicing themselves. But simple things, everything, the nice thing about it all being connected through software and wiring and electronics and everything is the company can remotely see everything that goes on with any aspect of the tractor. So any problem that comes up, there's an error code and they can go into the logs of the machine remotely and see what is going wrong. So they can better direct the farmer if the farmer wants to try and repair it on his own. But most of the stuff I would say would be more limited to a dealer or the company doing the servicing themselves. But there is some
Yeah.
simple stuff that can
Okay.
be done with the farmer.
No, that's good. And then, you know, a big part of the debate is modifications to defeat emission systems, and it's not a consideration for electric tractors. So anyway,
Yeah. So yeah, that's all from me. I guess Jason, did you want to touch on the research side of things?
Yeah. So on the research site,
Maybe introduce yourself real quick, Jason.
Okay. Jason Garibo, also with Haggerty AgRobotics. Kind of help support the other parts of the business, but mainly work on the research and development side of things. So on the R&D side, the main thing that we're doing this year is continuing to work with the partners we've established over the years, or the ones where we have research farms with. So for example, Area XO, we started doing some work with them last year, so we're going to continue that this year. The Muck Station, Cave Spring, around the London area, around the Bothwell area. So what's great about this is we kind of get a representation of what Ontario agriculture has. So with Cave Spring, we have the vineyards. At the Muck Station, we have a lot of vegetables. And it's not just like the region, but the expertise, because every crop or every farming kind of type, there's a kind of specific expertise that goes with that. So being boots on the ground in these particular regions is allowing us to better meet the farmers' needs and kind of learn exactly what they need and work with them to adapt the robots to those conditions. So we're excited about that, and going to continue doing that and continuing to test the robots that we have, different sensors that are coming down the pipeline, vetting which ones actually work, which ones don't, and then even providing feedback, continuing to provide feedback to the manufacturers. And then on the development side, we're going to continue working with Norterra and the University of Guelph on the weed density mapping project. So continuing to have meetings there to plan for the coming year. And we're hopeful, well, the plan, what we're going to do is after we get the scans, we're going to use the actual map to make some decisions this year. So the past 2 years have been more so developing everything to get to the point where the software process is creating a map within a specified time frame, so 24 to 48 hours. But this year we're going to get that map and make some real-time decisions with it. Or not real time, but within that time frame. So another project is going to be with the Roboti. So the Roboti, there's a farmer in the Dresden area who wants to make a custom planter for it. So we're going to work with him to get that going and support him in getting that robot part of his operations. And then there's a couple other ones, but one of the things that we're really excited about this year too is many of our summer techs who are going to be working with us are people who we've worked with in the past and people who you may have seen during some of the presentations here. So like we love training, and I think we've gotten pretty good at it over the past 3 years, but by having people coming back, we're going to be able to hit the ground running this year. And yeah, it's a good sign too that they enjoy working in the agricultural sector, because not all of these people are from the agricultural sector.
Oh, that's great. I see the Upside Robotics team might be on here. I heard they're hustling around. They were speaking yesterday at one of the soil and crop meetings. Upside, do you want to give us a quick update on how you're progressing?
Sure. I can go. Hi, I'm Yana. Yeah, so yesterday we were at the Seoul conference. It was actually pretty good. It was the Bruce County one, and we just presented the results of our trials. This year, so last year we did 70 acres of trials on nitrogen reduction, and the overall results were that we were able to reduce about half of the fertilizer with no significant impact on yield. And that is just through doing 8 to 10 split trials. So I'm not sure how many of you know the nitrogen application cycle, but essentially a lot of the farmers, especially corn farmers, they tend to apply nitrogen all up front in one single application, or maybe one application with one split application, which then results in quite a lot of waste throughout the season. Especially every time it rains, it leaches, or when it gets too hot, it gets volatilized. So last year, what we did was essentially do a bunch of split apps. And then this year, moving forward, what we're looking for is not just nitrogen. So we are moving into other nutrients because one of the key findings was that nitrogen wasn't the limiting factor to yield. Actually, there was a lot of other nutrients that were deficient during the season. So like potassium, sulfur, and we found some phosphorus deficiencies. So this year we are really focusing on doing the sensing. So making sure that we're able to detect those deficiencies in season and actually do an application. So there is kind of three things that we will be deploying this year. So one, scaling. So we are going from 70 acres to 1,200 acres. So yesterday we actually confirmed we are very oversubscribed, so we actually have to cut down on the number of customers that really wanted to sign up and actually progress them to trials. So we had about 96 people that wanted to trial our robots. We have limitations, so we can only take 15. So right now we're just doing site visits to site visits and making sure that we get the right people on board, but also the right fields. So we're looking at something more flat, something that ideally has access to power, but not absolutely necessary. So that's one. And then the second thing that we're doing is we're doing a full living field system. Last year, we had to walk behind the robots to train them for autonomy. This year, we'll have a base station with the robots that will do automatic refill, recharge. So that'll be really interesting. So that's being built right now, and that will be deployed in April. And then the other thing was just around the multi-nutrient approach that we're testing. So going away just from nitrogen, but actually doing multispectral cameras, canopy cameras. We also have temperature, humidity sensors on the robots. So we will know at each different location the state of the plants. And then we're building the algorithms behind to make basically weekly prescriptions. So that's all in progress. So there's a lot going on. And actually, I was thinking of doing a whole presentation on it. So that's still in the works.
We'll get you organized so you can do that too. Good hustle out there. Congrats on your progress.
Thank you. Thank you. Apologies. That was very long.
No,
you caught me off guard.
Yeah, well, you're doing good work, and this group needs to hear it, and hopefully the group can support you guys as you're growing your business.
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, we're still a startup, so there is a lot of work that needs to happen before the season. So anyone that has any technical knowledge, we're always here to learn. Anyone that cares a lot about nitrogen reduction, we love talking to them. And anyone that loves corn.
That sounds good. Anyone else want to give an update, or do you want me to keep picking on people? Who's up next?
Looks like you're going to be picking on people.
That's all right.
I don't mind jumping in, Joe, for a moment.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you very much. So first of all, I just want to thank everybody on this group for a couple of things. We have a lot of people here who have helped us spread the word about the funding that we currently have available and will be available until September 2026. So we have lots of opportunity in this program. And also some of the people on the call who are either applied or have applied for funding. So again, we've got a lot of really good uptake from this group. I just want to mention, as Dan mentioned, He's at the Robo Hub today. The Robo Hub is actually one of our new technology demonstration sites where OCI will provide you basically free access for that site under our programming or even funded access. So it's another good area specifically for this group. And the other technology site that I want to mention that we brought on is the University of Ottawa IBM cyber range for cybersecurity. So if people are developing either applications or as part of your robotics or control, you're looking to get cybersecurity, insight, that's another really good opportunity. But really for us for 2025, it's more of the same, and that's what we're looking for. And again, thanks everybody who helps spread the word on this program.
Yeah, that's great news, and thanks, Robert, for supporting the industry so well. And yeah, look at OCI's grant programs. If you're looking for financing, that's important. I see Garson's on there. Garson, do you want to give us a quick update? I know there's some good news at Kane these days.
Thanks, Joe. The first piece of good news at Kane is that we have a new board member, Joe Dales. So welcome aboard, Joe.
Thanks.
We're already seeing some fruits of making use of your knowledge and connection, so it's great for that. Yeah, we are. We did, as I mentioned last week, we did get our current funding round extended for another year, which allows us to continue funding and supporting projects through to September or later of 2026 as well. At the same time, we are looking at building out our smart farms and smart farm network support. So we're looking at doing more in bridging the gap between technologies and on-farm validation and demonstration and potential adoption. And so that's our main focus for 2025, in addition to looking to award all of the remaining dollars that we have currently. So we'll be doing a bit of traveling. We've been doing a bit of traveling. We just came back from the Salon de l'Agriculture out in St. Hyacinthe, where we were able to make some good contacts and then meet some companies that we've talked with before. So we're trying to put the word out there, especially here in the early part of the year, and really looking to ramp up our support across the country some more. And I just sent Dan a quick note about maybe us getting a booth at the London Farm Show, since we have an in-person meeting on the 7th. It'll give us a good opportunity to maybe get out there as well.
That's terrific. I see Peter King's on. Peter, do you want to give us an update on how you're doing, and are there things this group can be doing to support your efforts? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, sorry, I'm on the road, so just on my phone without camera. But it's nice to meet everybody. Been on quite a few of these calls. We've got a couple of initiatives happening. The biggest one is that we've now incubated a new organization called Terrain AI that I think is pretty impactful to a lot of members here. So we now have a fully working robotic brain box that utilizes some AI compute power to control our UI-based program that comes with autonomy as well. So a big initiative to turn basically anything with a motor into a robot, which is great with some autonomy. And so that organization is now moving forward to specialize in autonomy for unstructured environments, which is obviously a really big challenge in the agriculture world. So we're going to spend a little bit of time making sure that we can get any piece of equipment into really difficult terrain. So a couple of interesting contracts that we're working on, and so we've hired our first 4 AI team members, found some office space, and are really kind of expanding on that autonomous program that we've already built.
That's great. If people want information, is there a website or anything you can send them to, Peter?
At the moment, we're a little incognito with that organization.
Okay.
There is another organization that I run out of Ottawa called AgRobotics. AgRobotics is currently incubating Terrain AI as an organization specific to this. So if you do want to check us out at indrarobotics.ca, you'll see a lot of good things happening there and some products that are coming over to Terrain AI through Indra as well.
Yeah, and you're on LinkedIn if the people want to hunt you down personally too. So
yeah, that's right.
That's good. No, good luck with all that. And I know 25 is going to be a big year for you and your companies. How are we doing for time, Dan?
If there's one more sort of quick thing someone wants to say or something, we can do that. But we've just got 10 minutes left, so we'll move on shortly to the remainder of the agenda, just so I can get through all that stuff.
Why don't you go ahead then?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sean, I saw you threw your hand up there. Did you want to?
Good.
Sure, yeah, just real quick. I just had a project approved and announced a couple days ago through federal and provincial funding, as well as through commodity groups, to do invasive pigweed biovigilance here on the prairies. Part of that, I will be, or my team and I will be evaluating apps for detecting Palmer amaranth and water hemp when it's young, so that we can have this tool in the hand of growers for early identification and eradication activities. So if there's anyone who's battling water hemp and who would be open to collaborating, please reach out. I'll be looking for images at all growth stages. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Joe, just wanted to say thanks so much for hopping in to help moderate this chat. It's really appreciated. Sounds like we've got a lot of really great stuff coming up this year, so we'll be keeping an eye on everything, and we're excited to see what we can get done this year as a group. All right, so
Probably thank OMAFA and FCC for all their support too, right?
Oh yeah.
For 24, we've had a lot of support from a bunch of different groups, Guelph and OMAFA and FCC and OCI and Kane and all the groups. So I think we all appreciate that. And I think 25 is going to be a big year for us as the industry matures, right? So yeah, it's exciting.
Absolutely.
And I would just add yours and Bridget's hard work at administrating all of this too. Thank you for doing that as well.
Oh, yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you for the shout out. All right, so today is the Midwest Ag Conference here in Waterloo. So not sure if anyone is going to that after this meeting or anything like that, but hopefully next week we can get somebody to speak on how that went. As previously mentioned, today, currently right now, is the RoboHub Winter Symposium here in Waterloo. Again, not sure if anybody is planning on coming by, but there's some friendly faces here, so we should have a bit of information on how the event went for next week.
Well, and maybe anybody that's recruiting too, like you're going to meet a lot of mechatronics engineers and robotics engineers. So if anybody's looking for summer talent, that Dan and Bridget are going to be there. So we'll keep our eye for good, smart, young people.
Oh yeah, and we're always looking for new people to present at these groups and share what they've got. So yeah, it'll be a good day. I see Bridget just put it. She's just outside this room at our table. Apparently, we've had some questions about co-op positions and things like that. So that's good to hear. Get these young minds working in the industry as quickly as possible, right? All right, moving on. Project updates. We don't really have anything new. Call for speakers. And then next week is when you should be seeing that survey that we've mentioned about getting permission to share member contact info. So keep an eye on your inboxes for that. Our job board is still up. We're getting in to the new season soon, so hopefully there are some new positions that might be available. So if you know of anything, send them our way. We're happy to post them up on the job board. We don't have any new funding announcements or opportunities for this week. But I mean, as has already been mentioned in this call, and as always, there's lots of opportunity out there for funding. So please check out those links and see if there's anything that might be useful to you or to somebody you know. We have a couple of minutes left. The meeting has been a bit of an overall roundtable, but we will move into our roundtable if there's anything sort of, I guess, I don't know, off topic. Anybody would like to mention, or any questions, thoughts?
I think Bridget was looking for ideas for, are there any gaps in the conferences or speakers or programming the working group can focus on as well. So if there's topics that people want keynote speakers on, we can hunt those down as well. So just another topic to throw out there.
Yeah, absolutely. No? All right. That's fine. There's always that awkward pause there, you know. Cool. We do have some new articles that we've thrown up on the agenda for this week. Some cool stuff in there. An article on Kubota unveiling their fleet of farming and construction robots. I saw that David from Kubota was on the call. Don't know if he might want to have a quick comment on that and how that's going.
Yeah, I can just speak quickly. Like, yeah, we had the big booth at the CES show there a week ago. We've got a lot going on in Kubota North America. We have our innovation centers out in California, and they've been running multiple proof of concepts. So a lot of the things you'll see newspaper articles on or communication on, it's to do with our proof of concepts that we've been running. And what's really neat about this year is we're hitting second phases of the proof of concepts. To give a better introduction of what I do, and I'll be really quick here, is I work on the precision team for products at Kubota Canada. So my job is to bring products to market for Canada for Kubota related to precision farming. This year is a really interesting year because it's the worst kept secret ever. Is we're coming out with our own auto steer system, for example. So this is a big deal because our dealers traditionally aren't technology dealers. So it's an interesting year where, this is going to be the first product we bring to market that, so I'm working on training and all that sort of thing. So really a lot hinges on this year and see how things go. And if you ever have any questions about Kubota, I sit on all kinds of meetings for Kubota North America with our technology office down there. But I'm sort of all things technology related for Kubota Canada and farm equipment.
Awesome. Thanks for that update, David. Appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who spoke today for their updates. It's much appreciated. With that, I think we've sort of reached the end of our meeting for this week. thank you for attending. Everybody have themselves a great weekend, and we look forward to next week's meeting. All right. Take care, everybody.
Have a great day, everyone.